targeting people, new people, and that's what we're going to select here. Now, there are a couple of benefits as well to selecting messages. The first thing is that this advert will appear on Facebook Messenger as an ad, so people can start a private conversation with you directly. They don't have to comment on a public Facebook ad that they need to lose weight or want to lose weight, sorry. So that's a big benefit to it. And what I wanted to stress as well is that this ad appears to new people, not people that like your page, but people that are, as I say, completely new to your business. So it's a good way for you to start a conversation with them. Somebody was saying something there. Okay. Once you...
Yeah.
I think somebody might be unmuted. Let me just check. Just go through the cameras here. Okay. So, yeah, if you all click on messages, as I say, can't seem to mute Eileen. But yeah, so if you go to messages and click on that and then scroll down, okay. Now, when it says campaign basically means Facebook ads. So that's all you've got to think about.
Dan, can you unmute me? Dan?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah,
Can
hi.
you unmute
I have.
Dan? Oh, you have? I can't.
Is
Ads manager
anybody...
on Google, is that what I should be doing?
Sorry, you were breaking up then. I don't know if it's my connection or yours. It just broke up halfway through what you were saying there.
Here in Leicester, it's terrible. I'm not even in on the page, Dan.
Okay. Once again, it might be better to type it in the group chat. I mean, Vicky, Michael, are they frozen for you, or is it just... Okay.
I've downloaded the Ad Facebook Manager.
Yeah, so I'll just... hopefully you can hear me, okay? So you need to be on Facebook Ads Manager on your laptop or your computer. I'm going to say I can't, unfortunately your connection just completely cut off. So maybe you can ask me a question in the group chat, but yeah, it's just completely freezing up. So
yeah.
So I'm just going to say, yeah, so give your campaign a name. If it's messages, by default, just delete that and then just give it a name that you can remember. So we've got somebody else coming in here now. Facebook, SAT. Just going to call mine, but just call your name, call your campaign something you're going to remember. We've got somebody coming in here as well, Gillian. I don't know if that's somebody new to the ceiling or... Let's just try and unmute. Oh no, I think it's gone. Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. So these boxes here, so if you just have a look at my screen share, and you've got a couple of boxes here to switch off. So it says campaign budget optimization. All you do is just flip that off. Just make sure that these two boxes here are flipped off, basically. So just so they say off on the little switch button here. Okay. You don't need those two on, and give your campaign a name, and make sure that you selected messages. And I'll just let's try Eileen again, see if we can hear you this time. It's not letting me unmute you. Very strange. Trying to unmute you, but unfortunately it's not. No, it's not letting me unmute you. Sorry. Dan, I don't have those to switch off. If you don't have them to switch off, don't worry about it. It's totally fine. If they're not there, that's okay. And let's just have have a look. So once you've done this, as I say, make sure that you've selected. Is it just me? Yeah, it's just you. So what it is, that home page, the first page we started on, that's where you see the names of the campaigns. So just when you go back to it, you can refer back to it in the future. A bit like when you save a file on your computer, like a Microsoft Word document. It's just something that you can refer back to it and know what it is. So when you go to Ads Manager, you'll see the names of your ads, and you just give it a name for future reference, really. So yeah, just give it, as I say, a name that you can remember. So once you've clicked messages, gave it a name, and then turn both of these off, and then we just click on continue. Okay. Okay. So once you've clicked on continue, you're at the next step. You've done the first step. You've selected messages, given it a name, and yeah, that's the first step. So if you just have a look at my screen share here for the moment, okay. Mine said set up ad account rather than continue. Yeah, if you've not added a payment method, you would need to do that. So you may need to add in those payment details. Just you've already done that, okay? Should be in place then. So if you scroll down on the right hand side here, and you've got here, it says potential reach 43 million people, which obviously is huge. So scroll down, okay? Just have a look at my screen here, and then next to United Kingdom, click on the X. So you see there, I'll just leave that on screen now. United Kingdom, and there's an X. You just click on it to get rid of the United Kingdom, which sounds a bit final, but that's always there by default. But what we want to do here is, this is where you add the location that you want to target in terms of where you're based. So you click into here, okay? And this is the way we're going to do it. So, for example, let's just say I'm a one-to-one diet consultant in Oxford, just off the top of my head. You type in the location, okay, that you want to target, and then it comes up with all different options. So type in the one that, you know, the city or town that you cover as a one-to-one diet consultant, and pick the option, the correct one. Obviously, for my one, there's more than one Oxford in the world, so I click on the one in England. Okay. How do I get rid of United Kingdom? There's just the X. So you can see the X next to it. It appears when you zoom over it on the right-hand side. You can put more than one in, so that's totally fine. And you can also make the radius around it. So by default, there's a little circle around it, or a little bubble. You can make that smaller by clicking on the down arrow next to it. Okay, if you just check out my screen share here, and then you can drag it to the left to make it 17 kilometers. No. Okay, so I'm not sure. How do I get rid? Yeah, if you want to get rid of the United Kingdom, it's just an X here. So if you watch my screen share now, if I want to get rid of Oxford, for example, there's an X there, and just click on that, and you get rid of the location. So it should just appear next to the location when you do it. Okay. So to add a location, I'll just run through that again. So for example, I'm going to add in Reading.
I got lost there. Could you go back again, please?
Yeah, who was speaking, sorry? Okay.
It's Dana.
Okay, Dana. So say I add this location in, Reading. If you want to get rid of a location, there's the X here. So you just move the mouse cursor over to there, next to the down arrow.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have an X.
What device do you want?
Laptop.
Okay, so
Nothing on UK at all. There's something next to it that says edit.
Okay, try that. Click on that.
It's still leaving. Oh, hang on. Done it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so you can move, if you have a look at the share again here, you can move the map around, okay? So you've got this grabber, as I call it. If you click on the left mouse button, you just hold it and you can just move it, you can shake the world, okay? And then you can zoom in and zoom out just to see what you're playing with in terms of where you're targeting. So zoom in, the plus button, and then the grabber, just to move it, just to drag it. So I'm in Finland at the moment. Down to the UK, past Denmark, there we go. Zoom in, and then just grab that basically to drag it across with the left mouse cursor, just so you can see what you're where you're targeting basically. So you put the central location. So I've done Reading here. There it is indicated by the tick. As I say, it's 40. We've got somebody else coming in here. Maybe they've switched devices. Let's just come back in and just check they're on mute. So yeah, easy to see, it's 40 kilometers. I say to myself, wow, that's a bit too big for me. So I click on it, the down arrow next to it, and then I make it smaller. So it just makes the radius in and around that smaller. And you can add more than one location. So let's say I want it in Slough. Okay. Just example. Slough. Plug that in. And then once again, down arrow. Zoom it across. You can make it bigger as well. Not to confuse you, but another way you can do this is to actually type in the address. And I always use this one because it's easy to remember. So it's Oxford Road, Oxford, Oxfordshire. Couldn't be any more Oxford if I wanted to be. So you can type in the address, and you can have like a smaller radius around it. So if you see there, I've typed in that address in Oxford, and I click on the down arrow here, and I can make it like just a 5 kilometer radius, so I can make it a lot smaller. Okay. We've got somebody unmuted at the moment. Okay. Yeah, so you can add in as many locations as you want, but obviously the areas that you cover, and take ones off. So I'll just show you again. Say I want to get rid of Slough. There's the X, and it's gone. But yeah, you want to obviously set the radius that so say a 10-mile radius around where you're based. Obviously, sometimes you get asked, well, what radius should I set? Well, it depends where you cover as a consultant, really, and how far you want to travel and those sort of things, really. So has anyone not added a location or got any queries on that one? Okay, so hopefully, as I say, everyone's added in their location. So if you have a look at the screen share here, I'm just going to drag down, okay? And then we've got age and gender. So one thing to say about age, you cannot target or advertise to anybody under the age of 18 through Facebook advertising with weight loss products. So that's them out of the equation. But yeah, under 18's weight loss ads doesn't happen. Now, the thing with it is we've got our local location that we want to target to, okay? But we need to be a bit more specific about age and gender, because we want to be more targeted with our ads. We want to put an ad out there that's going to resonate with people that see it. This is a big part of this. So 18 to 65 is very, very broad, as I'm sure you'll all agree. Now, what I want you to do, and I'll explain why afterwards, is change the age range, okay? So what I'm going to suggest is two options here: 25 to 55, or 30 to 60, okay? So it's 25 to 55 or 30 to 60. So you're covering, yeah, okay, thank you, and hope everything's okay, and yeah, take care. So, yeah, so 25 to 55, 30 to 60. And yeah, you're covering, several age groups if you like, but you're not being too broad to everybody, because 18 to 65 it is very, very broad. So I've just changed it on mine and show you how to do that here. So I click on there, the down arrow next to 18, change that to 25, and then change the other one to 55, for example. So you've got a 30-year age range. So you're kind of keeping it fairly broad, but not massive and not too narrow. So that's the general rule there, is particularly with these types of ads, is not to be too small with it, but not too massive with it. Okay, that's a big problem when people hit the boost button and they target an ad to 18 to 65 across the whole country, and it just goes nowhere. So that's age. Now, the next thing is gender. Okay, now this really does depend on what image you use for your ads, or you're planning to use. So, quite simply, if you've got an image of a male swimmer, I want you to hit men. If you've got an image of a female swimmer, or yourself, for example, I want you to hit women. Now, the reason for this being is that when people see the ad, it needs to be relevant to them. So, for example, if you've got an image of a woman that's lost weight, another woman will relate to that more. You think, I want to look like that, okay? And vice versa for men. If I'm a man that's overweight, fortunately I'm not, but if I was, and I saw another man that had lost weight, that could be more relevant to me, okay? So, if you've got an image of a male swimmer, target men and women for female swimmer. Any questions on that? Seen a few raised eyebrows there, but so I'm going to change mine to women. Is this where we're using the phrase? Not just yet, no. It's just to explain why, like the thought process behind that. So, as I say, we want to just target people in our local area, people across an age group, but also by gender as well. So this, for example, for my advert, it just goes to women in Reading. And let's say I'm a one-to-one diet weight consultant in Reading. Most of my clients are female, so I want to target women, and I've got an image. So just remember, when people are on Facebook, when they see ads, they want it to be relevant to them. They don't want to, see something that's not going to be of interest to them. So that's just a little tweak there in and around. Now, what I want you to do once you've done that is look at my screen and see the potential reach, okay? So my potential reach is 210,000 people, okay? So what I want everyone to do, please, is type their number for their potential reach into the group chat. So that's the potential reach, which is below this kind of bit here. So it's not the estimated daily results, it's the potential reach. I think most of you have got that, but let's just have a look. We've got 1 million, wow. 1,000, okay, that's not good. 240k, 60k. Okay, so this next part of the task, I'm just looking through these here now. So, just to explain it, so if you look at mine, for example, 210k, I'm not going to reach 210,000 people with my ad. That's the total audience size, but you reach a certain amount of those people a day. So, for example, for mine, it's about 1,000 to 2,000 a day, depending on how much money I spend. But just to stress that you want to get the audience size down to in and around 100,000 people. Now that depends, okay, this is very important to say, that depends on your particular area that you cover. So for example, here I'm covering Reading and the areas around it. If I was based in a small town, which I am, I wouldn't need to worry about getting it to 100,000. Okay, so quite simply, a lot of you here, I've seen somebody here put 1 million. Um, Somebody's got 43 million. That means you're still targeting the whole United Kingdom, I think. Unfortunately, my friend. So yeah. So what we're trying to do is get it down to in and around 100,000, just so it's a little bit more targeted. But we've got somebody in here. Where was it? Somebody had 10,000. It was Pam, if I'm correct saying that. Let's have a look. Yeah, Pam, yours is fine. You don't need to follow this next step of this particular next step of the exercise. Okay. 190. Okay. So what I want you to do, okay, if your potential reach is above 150, I want you to follow this next part of the process through. Okay. So I'll repeat that again. If your potential reach is above 150, I want you to follow this next part of the task. If it isn't, please don't. Okay? Is there a percentage for London? I'm not so sure what you mean by that. But just to explain, it's like London is obviously a very densely populated place. Okay? So when you put these things in, like women 25 to 55, it's going to be a massive amount of people. So we need to get that number down to be a bit more targeted. But say if you're based like myself in like a seaside town, and I put in a few towns and put in women, it will be a smaller number, and I don't need to do this next step. So it'll make more sense. But please follow this through if your audience size potential reach is above 150,000 people. There's going to be most of you actually. So if you have a look at my screen here, and below women, I've got detailed targeting. Okay. So what I do is I click into there. Now, just to explain what this is, so on Facebook you can like and follow pages based on things that you are interested in as an individual. So whether it's a certain type of fitness or certain type of music or yoga or whatever it is you're interested in, you follow things on Facebook for your personal profile based on what you're interested in. So what we need to do is target people with interests that are similar to the one-to-one diet. Okay, now we can't target people, strictly speaking, we can't target people that are interested in one-to-one diet, but there are other things that are similar to the one-to-one diet that we can target. Okay, so the first one to type in is Slimming World. Okay, so if you just type that into the white box there, so you type in Slimming World. Okay, now if you look at my screen, it comes up with two results. It comes up with employers, but what we want, if you see that one here, is interests, and that's 7.3 million, and that accounts for across the whole world. Okay, so it's people that are interested in pages related to Slimming World. So click on that one. Okay, and then it does bring it down. So the more interest you add in, obviously the more it goes back up. So what I'm going to suggest is, let's have a look. Some of these are quite big. Okay. Let's add in one more and then just see what your numbers are looking like. Okay. So the next one is Weight Watchers. Okay. So type in Weight Watchers and then it comes up with interests. Always click on interests. Okay, for this particular part of the task. What is the ideal number? So as I say, in and around 100,000, but it does depend on where you're based. So, you know, if you're covering like Birmingham or London or Glasgow, you're in a densely populated place. So when you put it in without interest, the number's going to be big. But if you're in a smaller area, you may not need to put as many interests in. So now that you've done this, if you just type in your potential reach now, let's see how they're looking. Okay. changed a little bit. Okay, Shirley, it should be the potential reach. Rosa, yours is fine. Laura, Sarah, I think we'll just, if you just add in one more that I'm going to put on. Same for you as well, Vicky. Shirley as well. Peter, I think yours is fine. Elizabeth, okay. That's fine. Actually, I'm just thinking about this now. Elizabeth, if you take off Slimming World, okay, and just see what your numbers are like then, please. But if you're under, okay, so if you're under 100,000, I want you to add in this next one, and then just report back with the number, okay? Just slim fast. I know you thought it was slim fast. Add that one in. Okay, but I think that's fine. 160, that's looking a bit more healthy. 130, that's fine. So it's in and around the 100,000, as I say. You put in weight loss is a massive category, so it can relate to lots of different things. 28,000 is quite low, Sarah. So, okay, thank you, Vicky. That's fine. Rosa, that's fine. So that's fine. Okay. Shirley, we just added one more. Rhino as well. Okay, so basically, if yours is below 70,000, okay, for those of you that are doing this task, I want you to add in this final one here and just see how you get to, and then we'll have a quick look and see what we've got. So Herbalife is the final one. Okay, let's have a look and see what we've got here. So as long as it's 45,000, that seems to have only gone up slightly. Okay, Sherry's 56. Expanded my area. There's a wider age range. Okay, it's fine. Okay. $160, $100K. That's fine, Shirley. Okay. So in and around the 100,000, as I say. I'm just trying to keep track of everyone's, which is quite tricky. So. Elizabeth, maybe take off a couple of those just to get that down a little bit. So Elizabeth, if you do that, Shirley, you're fine. Sarah, you're fine. Laura, okay, let's find the age range to get this case. That's fine as long as it's above 60. Susan, I'm saying the name wrong. I remember now. But yeah, that's fine. Gillian, you're stuck on location. Just if you want to unmute and just let me know.
Hi, I'm sorry, I swapped from the iPad to the laptop. So by the time the laptop's loaded it all on, I'm still trying to, that's why it's doing 44 million on, because I haven't been able to tell the levels confused.
Yeah. Have you got rid of the United Kingdom by you just click on the
Yeah.
X
Oh,
next to it?
oh yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And then just add in, click on type to add more locations and type in the place that you're, Liverpool that you're covering.
So you're doing this and add. Alright. So, mute myself now. Yes, I've caught up. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Cool. Okay, so just looking through these answers here. As I say, you want to aim for in and around 100,000, but at least above 50. And that's the rule of thumb for people that are covering a bigger area. Now, just to reiterate, if you're covering a small area, you don't really need to add in interests. Just need to change the gender and the age. Excuse me. But let's have a look and just see these answers. So Elizabeth, yeah, if you take off a couple of those and just see what it comes up with. Shirley's fine. And Laura, that's fine. Sarah's fine. Okay. Okay. Cool. I think that's all okay now. So it is different for everybody, as I keep saying, but you add in 190. Okay, we'll leave it at that. That's the K. So you could use just you could just use Weight Watchers and interest and see what it does then. But yeah, so what I'm going to suggest now is we take a quick 5-minute break and then we will go on to the budget and scheduling part. So back in 5.